personal. That morning loop reloaded with a different camera here. The battery died on that one. I guess I learned something here this morning. I always learn something new as we fly the airplane as we're building it. And I learned today that the battery dies after an hour on this one. Yeah, that's how it works.
You know what you just did there, Keith?
Tell me.
You pulled your pants down.
Yeah, I did. I did.
It.
Shout out to
Show them the short and curlies, baby. Show them the short and curlies.
Hold those short.
Sorry, Tina.
Yeah, I got to get the shaver out today, Johnny.
I'm fine until we talk about the short and curlies. And then I just get a visual that I don't want. No.
You're hanging out with Keith. That's me. You're hanging out with Marty. That's the guy over there. He's wearing that green shirt. He's the handsome dude there with the red headset on. That's Marty. He's got an awesome mom. We're going to get his mom on the show one day. She's just crushing life underneath the guise of...
You're going to love my mom.
I suspect we are. And that guy drinking that coffee, that's John Anderson. Yeah, that's Johnny. He stumbled onto the show a few months back with me and Marty, and we haven't been able to get rid of him ever since. So he just hangs out with us as well. And then, of course, we got producer Flynn over there, and she's the one dropping these nuggets and making us young men better every single day. And that guy over there pressing the buttons, I just ignore him. His name's Jimmy. He just sits there and presses buttons and makes
literally everything happen.
That's it. He makes everything happen. So if the show's not working, we just blame it on Jimmy.
Just blame it on him, and we're all out of seat.
Which is when people don't realize it's because of Jimmy as well.
That's right. That's right. Hey, team. So I got a question for you. Is there a connection? Is there a connection between emotional intelligence and happiness? Does EQ really help us be happier, especially as we start our days in the morning? And here's the answer. Absolutely it does. And it's been proven. According to literature and some scientific research, happiness has both a cognitive and emotional side. And nation, as you're starting your day today, whether you're choosing, right, Johnny? Whether you're choosing to be happy or choosing to not be happy, it's going to matter on how you're going to get through your day today. And if you're in a leadership role, it's truly going to matter how your EQ relates to the rest of your day. But let's talk about this whole thing. How can people with high emotional intelligence boost their overall happiness with 4 habits? We talk about this show, starting your day with positive habits, mornings in the lab. We're talking positive habits. So let's talk about the 4 things that humans can do to boost happiness to start their day. Now, these are...
Can I say one thing before we go here, brothers? Yeah. This is a real interesting thing, because now hear when I say this, right? So thoughts are the language of the mind.
Yes.
Emotions are the language of the body. So when you have a fucked up thought, it creates a negative emotion. So we have much more control over this than we think. We have to really be careful what we're thinking about, because what we think about, good or bad, is going to create a good or bad chemical. That good or bad chemical is what's going to create an emotion in our bodies. Now, our bodies are going through, so let's just say it's a negative thought. Our bodies are going through a negative emotion, all because we had a fucked up thought. So we have much more control of this than we think. So everybody needs to be very aware of that before we dive into this.
So I'm dropping this, nation, because I want to give you guys some nuggets to get through your day today. I want to give you some things. You're starting your day going, I woke up on the wrong side of the bed, or I woke up on a crooked mood today. So listen, let's go through some ways that you perhaps can attack your habits today as you start your morning to be successful. Marty, eliminate the tendency to react impulsively. So often we react when faced with an emotionally charged situation. The key is we react. When triggered to react, we learn from the models of high EQ that we first need to reflect on what's pushing our buttons and choose to keep calm. Marty, talk about eliminating the tendency to react impulsively, because I know Johnny's got one to lean into because he talks about this often. But talk about this whole idea of don't react impulsively. Marty, how have you learned not to react impulsively?
This is why you have your morning routine. No, but seriously though, that's why you have your morning routine. So for me specifically, when I wake up and do my stretches and my yoga every morning, it puts me in a mind state. So now I'm responding instead of reacting. I get a lot of bullshit throughout my day, every day. And as a professional, you can't just react. Somebody might come to me with a certain tone or tell me my plan didn't work. I can't just react emotionally and be like, no, you're not following directions. I got to respond in a mature, professional way, definitely. So the morning routine has a lot to do with that.
Yes. Johnny, coming at you this one, brother.
Yeah, I'm just going to say what really helped me get a grip on this one, because as humans, we're reactors. It's easy for us to react. It's the way the brain's wired. But so and in the world we live in now, when I was learning to do this, social media didn't exist. So it's a bigger challenge now, because you got people in person, you got people on social media, you got people on TV. But think like this. When you react to somebody, because usually that's what's happening, you're reacting to another person somehow, some way. You're giving that person the power of changing and altering your day. I personally don't give anyone the ability to get control of my day. I choose if I'm fucked up. That person over there, he can say, you're a fucking cocksucker. And I'll say, you're probably right. Then it releases and I'm done. I'm over. Someone could say, you know what? 6 + 6 is a 5. You're correct. Now go tell someone else, please. And it says, as soon as you learn to respond to protect your own state of mind, that's how I got it. Was like, I'm not letting any of these people have control over my day. And as soon as I really got a hold of that, it was like, this is so much easier, because then it was me versus the people who don't get it. And for me, I turn shit into a competition. I'm better that way. So I'm not letting somebody have control of my day, period. End of story.
Yes. See, listening to math lessons with Keith, John, and Marty. 6 + 6 is 125. Here on Mornings in the Lab with Keith and friends.
6 + 6 is 12.
Tina.
What did you say, Christina?
No, I'm just singing.
Tina,
Don't mind me.
reach out first after a heated exchange. Too often when we get into an argument with a friend, a partner, or a colleague, I don't want to get first. I don't want to reach out first. Christina can come reach out first. No, I'm not doing it. I'm not reaching out. No, Christina's got to do it. I'm not being humble. No, I'm turning my back. Hold on a second here. Reach out first after that heated exchange. Put your emotional intelligence on the table and be the first one to increase that happiness. Christina, lean into that whole idea about reaching out first after a heated exchange and the magic of that situation.
Our default mode is ego. Always someone else's fault. It's always someone else's fault. When you learn, and when I learned, immediately go to, this is you. Something you have done, something that has triggered you, has put you in this situation. What they're feeling is super valid. I can't understand that. So for me, it's always about what got me in this situation in the first part, reflecting on it, saying, what the fuck is happening here that is pressing my buttons, that it's making me react, and then calling it what it is. The number of times that I could have taken an argument with my wife from to here, oh my, we all know it, right? And you're heated. And versus just saying, I'm sorry, how can we get through this? I want to better understand how you're feeling. Yes. I want to better understand what I did to contribute to how you're feeling. And here's the kicker. You don't have to agree at all. You don't have to agree whether they're right or wrong. What if that doesn't matter at all? It's just a matter of saying, there's a problem here. There's a challenge. How are we as a team going to work together to solve it and both have responsibility in that?
Yeah, it's actually, you're absolutely right, Tina. Hey, we're talking about how you can boost your happiness with 4 habits today. 4 habits that you can instill in your day as you're starting your day right now. Don't hit the snooze button. Don't do it. Get up, get moving, create the momentum, and think about one of the things that we're dropping right now so that you can have a more positive day than perhaps you were thinking about having today. First one you can do really is get into this whole idea of eliminating the tendency to react impulsively. Don't react. Don't let somebody get joy out of your reaction. As John said, if you react, they've won. Think about that. If you react, that person has won. Control the situation. Number 2, reach out first, as Tina said. Listen, it's not actually, at this point, it doesn't matter who's right or wrong. Just go reach out first. Be the human. Show some kindness. Create the bridge. Here's number 3, Marty, Christina, Johnny. Show some gratitude, right? Gratitude is one of the most powerful things that we can embrace and show to yourself and to the other person. If you're going through a situation, be grateful for yourself and then be grateful for the human you're talking to. That is probably going to alleviate much of the situation and probably bring some happiness to your habits. Number 4, guys, this is a great one.
Sneak in one little thing right there, brother. Everybody needs to understand the human brain doesn't have the capability to feel anxiety and gratitude at the same time. So you have control of getting rid of that feeling that's got you all fucked up and bringing in a feeling that's going to make you feel more grounded and ready to move forward with whatever situation has got you on edge. So you have control just by your thoughts.
Yes. And Nation, I'm going to invite you all to think about what I'm going to say next. When I talk about Business Athlete Nation, perhaps I'm talking as much about the nation at large. In the next 10 days, there's going to be some political decisiveness happening in the United States of America. What I would invite you to consider is you're sitting with your neighbors, your family, your friends, your colleagues, your collaborators, any human being that's next to you, is find a way to seek common ground. Find a way to seek common ground. Ask a friend, ask a coworker, ask about a way you can find a place to meet in the middle. And if you can find that place to meet in the middle with curiosity, imagine the happiness that might come out of that situation. Alternatively, you can go into the situation and you can ignore everything that we've just talked about, and you could react, let the other person win. You could not reach out after a heated exchange, and you can choose not to show gratitude. And then I would invite you to ask yourself how good you probably would feel if you got into those last situation of seeking common ground and saying, fuck it. I don't know. Is that the life that you want to live? It's not the life that I want to live. So I invite you, think about these things, 4 things we talked about. Invite yourself, give yourself the permission to establish these 4 habits. Maybe pick one. But as we go the next 10 days, find the common ground, please. I think it's probably in best interest of all of us in humanity is just to find a way towards some common ground.
It's such a hurdle for some people, man.
It is. Yeah. It absolutely is. And
we're taught the opposite. That's why we're socialized the opposite. We're not taught find common ground. We're taught you're right. Own it. Strong about it. Be stubborn about it. Because if you think you're right, you've got to be right.
So true.
It's true. And as we talked about at the beginning of the show, and I talked about it in the morning loop, we saw the Republican convention yesterday and the power of words. Right? The power of words can convince people to do a lot of different things. But I invite you, again, I go back to repeating myself, find common ground, show gratitude, reach out after a heated exchange, and try not to react. If you react, you're already losing.
On that level, 2 people that have very different opinions that understand that they don't agree with each other can still be cordial.
Yes.
Still be kind to each other. You can still do all the things that a good human being could do, irregardless. Their opinions are completely ass backwards. So that right there is something that people need to get a grip on. We don't all have to agree to get along.
That's right. It's absolutely right.
Real quick, just because we talked about politics, I'm not going to talk about politics. I'm hearing stories of people like blocking someone or just cutting off all ties because of the political disagreement. I just think that's so childish.
Yes.
And, it would just be, I would love for people to get past this. I'm only 31, so I don't know if it was always like this. I've only been through a couple of elections, but it's so childish to me. I can't see myself, dealing with people like that as I get older. So.
Yeah. Well said, Marty. Well said.